Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, the famous Los Angeles, California. But we have offices around the country, and we have not say offices, but attorneys working from across the country. Our location does not matter for your immigration cases that we handle, because everything's done by internet and mail and stuff like that. So if you want to contact us, jqklaw.com/contact is the place to go. Again, that's jqklaw.com/contact. All the information provided here is for general and educational purposes only, not intended for individual legal guidance. A private consultation and review of your case is needed for that. But we come here live on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and I think there's one more place there. What is that? We'll see. But we come there, we take your questions live by U.S. Immigration to give a general idea what's going on. We're going to get a lot of questions about how long things take. We've got to skip those questions because it's just hard to answer those. First one, a regular ex-Fernie. You should know better than to ask a question about timelines, but we'll take it anyways. Except says, how long does it take to receive your work permit once it says your green card was produced? Okay, that's not too bad a timeline. Hopefully a couple days to a week. But it's up to the post office, up to the government if they actually send it or not. That's generally a week, but it could be completely wrong too. And that's why we don't want to give timelines because, more often than not, it's going to be some crazy thing. We just had a green card case that was approved, and the green card was sent to the wrong address. Kind of crazy. And so now the client needs to travel, needs the green card, have to file it for I-90. The post office says it was delivered there. But in fact, the people that were there said we didn't get anything. So they had to file a new form called I-90 to renew a green card, essentially, that they just got and paid a bunch of money for, was it for 10 or something like that, or for 15. So that's one of those things. Some issues that we have. Apple user says, with permanent bar, can you get approved for PIP but not AOS? I haven't read through the whole designation for parole in place because the final version was introduced today and I haven't had time to read it. I think they said on a case-by-case basis they may approve a permanent bar, but I'm not sure whether it's worth doing. Maybe I'll get a work permit out of it, but I don't know. I haven't read the full published registrar. So you could check on USCIS.gov. I think they have a frequently asked question page. You could do that. Ata says, filing for my parents, can I just file for my father? Yeah, you can choose whichever relative you want to file for. User 50 says, am I able to reach out to the National Visa Center for an interview? DQ January is necessary to reach out. If it's DQ and the case is there, no, you don't need to reach out. They should be able to fix it up themselves. They just gotta do it. It takes a while. Mo Sadeghian, good to see you. It says, hi, John. My wife applied for I-130 and we are on a CR1 category. It's going to be 2 years in October. And we have not gotten interview time at embassy. Do we need to change our category IR1? It doesn't matter. They'll automatically do it when you enter the U.S. So that part doesn't matter. Now, is it 2 years since your I-130 was approved or when you were DQ'd at the time? You got to look at how long things are taking. It's from being documentally qualified. But depending on which embassy you have, for example, if you have Abu Dhabi as your embassy, then yeah, you're going to wait 2 years. It was a bad idea to have Abu Dhabi designated. Probably, that's that. Zordo says, my lawyer has my USCIS info, won't give it to me. Can't I still file for PIP? You can still file. I mean, your lawyer is not allowed to withhold your documents and information from your copy of your file. So that's a bar fileable complaint. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but that's that. MLO says, I received PIP approval. Yeah, apparently it's happening fast. People were submitting yesterday, getting approvals today. So I held off on filing these cases because the government's supposed to issue these documents. Typically, they'd make a notice in the Federal Register first, and they didn't publish that until today. So I wanted that to be published, see how the final version is, then file. I would have filed this week. But I know clients had to get annoyed. They wanted it on Monday, but I want to go by the book, so I didn't file. But they're getting approved, and probably everything's going to be okay. Towboy says, I've been DQ'd. How long before interview letter? I don't know. Moose says, how are you doing, brother? Hope all is well. Thank you, Musafe. Appreciate that. Doing good. Summer's hot, but other than that, it's really good. Julian says, what does withdraw in lieu of expedited removal in FOIA means? It's a good thing. That means you, instead of them deporting you, you just said, you know what, I'm just going to head back home, which means you don't get hit by the negative consequences of having expedited removal. So that's a wonderful thing, really, that you have that. Mike says, hello, good afternoon. I have DACA and I got a DUI, but got the charges dropped to obstruction. Can I renew? Well, you got no choice but to renew to keep it, and it's going to be up to USCIS discretion. Mello says, filed solo yesterday. Good job. Marian says, do you recommend for NIW for a cybersecurity professional already in the U.S.? I can't have a recommendation because I don't know anything about you, but send your resume over, info@jqklaw.com, or just go to our website, jqklaw.com/contact, and let's do a first review of your resume. Carmen says, my minor son lives in the USA, green card holder. He was born overseas. I became a citizen 3 years ago. What form shall I apply to get him citizenship certificate? Well, your son needs to be living with you to be able to get it, and he has to be a minor. But yeah, N600 is for a certificate of citizenship, not naturalization, because they're not naturalized. It'd be, I mean, I guess it's just if they're minors and they become citizens automatically. If you become a citizen, it's applying for a certificate of citizenship. Julian says, also, can you apply for parole if you are inadmissible to 12 or misrepresentation or fraud? I didn't read all the rules, but I'm not sure if you'd want to, but I don't remember. It looks bad for the good moral character part, but I haven't gone through all these nuances. All the parole cases we have are clean. They don't have any of these issues, so I haven't had to go that deep into reading the thing yet, and I'm too busy filing them to read the whole thing for these kind of nuanced parts. Mike Jones says, hello, good afternoon. I'm Doc. Answer that question. User distant family wants to come to the States. Should we do a visitor visa route or employment visa? I mean, it depends on what applies for them. I don't know anything about them to answer that question. Thomas says, response annoyed 5 months later, no response. From your personal, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. The government takes a while. It could be bad. It could be good. It doesn't mean anything. It just takes a while sometimes for anything. Mo says, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. I'll answer that. Good. I'll respond. Thank you. Goodo says, does your office assist with asylum cases? The persons are in detention. We don't do asylum cases at all. I could refer you to somebody. Contact the office, jqklaw.com/congress/contact. Thomas asks, would you recommend local congressman help? It depends on what the reason for notice of intent to deny is. If it was not a good case, you have a weak case, I wouldn't really want to push the government. So I can't recommend, again, I can't recommend anything here because I'm not doing any of your cases. I don't know your background, so there's no way I could recommend stuff. I just generally give information about like how things work. So for here, I could say it depends on how strong your case. If you got a really strong case, yeah, complain. But if you got a weak case, I don't know if sure you want to push them. 363 says, if I have an arrest for possession of a loaded firearm by gang member, but case got dismissed, you should contact a lawyer in private that does immigration. Osman says, my case is out of one spouse of a U.S. citizen. Documents qualify September 2023. Still waiting for interview. I don't know how long it's going to take, but that's not too long for Silva. It's probably another couple months at least. Tanya says, I-130 for F2A still pending. Filing date is current. Final action date on our March 22nd. Petition not current. Spouse is physically present. USB. Can we adjust us? Tanya, schedule private consultation. That's so case specific. We got to see when they came, when they got the B2 visa, if there's any immigrant intent violations or not. I got to check your receipt notice for the final action date myself and check it against the visa bulletin and review for inadmissibility issues, review for affidavit support issues, look at what documents you submit with your I-130 to make sure it's consistent or not, or what issues that you may have had in filing that one mistakenly or not mistakenly. So Tanya, jqklaw.com/contact. Go to there and we'll schedule a consultation. Zurdo. So a different lawyer can't help file PIP of the original first or the first lawyer. Anyone could help you file any other case. So you could always get a new lawyer. It doesn't matter. But we want to get a copy of your file so we're consistent in any information we give the government. We don't want to say something now and then realize, oh, your other lawyer says something different, and then it looks like you did fraud. How long is this taking? I don't have a answer about timelines. Guido says your son. No, we already answered that. Amir says mom's visa was waiting for 2 years. That Islamabad embassy. USCIS revoked the case. Why? They don't just revoke the case. Your case was probably denied at the embassy at the interview, and so we got to see why it was. And if USCIS revoked the case, they should send you a letter saying why it is. So Amir, we got to see the documents and look into this. It's denied information to talk about that here. Basi says, I passed the N4G interview, but got another one. Do I need to pass civics test again? Why would they do another interview? There's some sort of issue with your case. So you didn't pass it the first time if they're doing another interview. Lizna says, the NBC is asking for the same documents over and over. What do I do if I were to submit it all? Yeah, that's an annoying aspect. If you get a bad officer at NBC, they'll keep asking for the same stuff. If you are sure you're correct, when you submit it, make notes of it in the submission. And also contact the NBC separately in the NBC portal and say this is going on. If it happens again, get your local senator or congressperson involved. But that's the National Visa Center for you. Barbara says, hi, John. Good day. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. Good day to you. Liliana says, hi, does the USCIS account need to belong to the spouse that is applying for a PIP? The USCIS account should be to the foreign national who's applying for it. El Salvador says, how long is it? Oh, you answered that. Guido, stop asking the same question. Unfortunately, I have to mute you. You can't post the same question 50 times. It's really hard to have a show right here. when someone keeps filling up your time like questions. Kind of rude, but I know it works to get attention, I guess. Or answer your question. And now I lose track, and all these other people ask questions. I can't answer their questions, so it's not fair. I don't want to say it's rude. I'll take that back. But it just makes it very difficult to figure out what's going on when you do stuff like that. And it just deleted a bunch of questions. So now people who did ask questions are not going to get it. Sorry, everybody. Ask your questions once. If you already asked it, I haven't answered it, do it one more time. But if you have multiple times you ask, I have to mute you, and then it's going to mess things up. Apple user, sorry, just deleted a bunch of people's questions just to get rid of one person. Apple with permanent bar, can you get approved for PIP? We already answered that question. Actually, we answered these stuff. Okay. Oh, I guess because it said I have 50 questions waiting. I just had one person ask the same question 50 times. So thanks. That's annoying. All right, Mike Jones. Hello, good afternoon. I have a DACA. I got the UI. Okay. That's we got the mom. Okay. How does it go on? Okay, for Biden's parole program, what type of proof of being in the U.S. can he show except tax returns? Anything. I mean, like, that's kind of generalized, but what's going on in your life in the last 10 years? I mean, living here, you might have gone to the doctor before. You might have got a driver's license. You might have got insurance. You might have got a ticket for speeding. You might have had trips where you've bought a flight somewhere. You might have went to school. You might have gone to church, and they could attest to a declarations. You have family members. It just depends on your life and what was going on there. Adi Sushi says, my wife will petition for me, but her income 2 years ago is not enough. But from the middle of last year until now, she has good income as a county bus driver. Will it be a problem for I-130? I-130 doesn't look into finances. So I think you're thinking about the wrong form. I think you mean I-485 and the affidavit of support. Most lawyers will say it is a problem. I've submitted these cases, never had a problem, but we'd want to have a case as strong as possible. So I have to see exactly what her job is, how long she's had it, see the pay stubs. If you have a backup joint sponsor if needed, how long, I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff. So I've had success with it. I can't guarantee because I don't know your case, but a lot of lawyers will say no. Nima says, hello, I'm active duty military. I'm about to submit the I-129F after meeting my Iranian fiance a week ago. Okay, I am searching for interview times for the K-1 visa UAE Turkey. Nima, schedule a private consultation. Normally charge a lot for consultations, but for active duty military personnel, we do it for free. So Nima, please do that. You're already going down the wrong road. It's going to take you a hell of a lot of time. You're going down a dark path for massive problems for you. So Nima June, please email or contact us, jqqlaw.com/contact. Send some evidence you're active duty military so no random people start taking advantage of this free military consultation thing we do. And let's talk about it because you're a world of hurt the way you're doing things right now, of just delays and delays. Thomas says Noid was regarding 204C in previous marriage. Case was appealed. BIA just state 204 is not applied. New marriage has. So even though your case is once there's messes like that, who knows what's going to happen? You really need to have private. Hopefully, you had an attorney working on your case. This is like going to be surgery, even though you may be good on everything. It's just dealing with that scenario is just such a hot mess. Nima says, what location do you recommend for interview if I hire the fire standing speaker to my visa? Blah, blah. Nima, talking private, there's a lot to get talked about, so schedule us. Thomas is how much consultation? Between $250 to $325, depending on the case type. Barbara says, does somebody who came to the U.S. and clearly by immigration at the airport qualify to apply for new parole or not? If you're admitted lawfully, then the new parole program doesn't apply to you, but you don't even need that. So, you might need it for like a work permit or something like that, but you would be able to file for a green card based on your U.S. citizen spouse. So again, you wouldn't need this parole program if you are admitted lawfully, but we got to see if you're admitted, what kind of admission you have. Julian, I answered that question. Gabby, what about if I get a DWI, do 18 months of probation, get another DUI on my DACA? Then you're probably going to lose DACA because you might be a drunk. I'm sorry. But one DUI to another one, please don't do that. It's dangerous. But it's up to government discretion. It's going to look really bad for you, especially if Trump comes. Carl says, I just got married with a citizen a month ago. I got it in with a visa, but now it's expired. What can I do? If you're married to a citizen, doesn't matter. But schedule a consultation. Download our guide first, Carl, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. We have an ultimate marriage green card case guide there. But you really schedule a private consultation. This is our focus. Our case is just like yours, marriage with expired visas. That's what we do all day, every day, and we can help you out on that. Candace says, what can you do if you live by yourself in America and you're under 21? How could you get a green card? Asylum, marriage, employment, maybe if you have to maintain status for that. So it depends. But it's too general a question for our purposes here. Julian says, hello, if I'm using my taxes as proof of being here, do I need to send every single page? What you should probably do is get your tax transcripts, but you should get more documents than just your taxes. Barbara says, I filed and been waiting for a response. I-130, I-485, filed since 2016 with no response. Even after writing, says, can I go ahead and file for Barbara? If your case has been pending for 8 years, you need to talk with a lawyer. Don't be doing stuff on your own. Like, that's a problem right there. Don't at all make these kind of decisions. Schedule a private consultation with a couple attorneys, get their opinions, see what's going on. Because there's an issue. Case can't be filed for eight years. That doesn't make any sense. There's something going on. Vika says, hi, my wife filed for I-130, I-485. She's a green card holder. She became U.S. citizen yesterday. I-130 approved already. What's the process now? You should update USCIS that the spouse is a citizen, and hopefully they get the clue. So they may not. You kind of call again and make sure they know, and then wait. And once you're already in that green card holder line, it's going to be a mess putting it back in. Sometimes it works smoothly and fast. Sometimes it doesn't. Love seeing. You're welcome, Barbara. Love seeing. Can you explain about 3-week citizenship process I applied last month in New York? Can you explain about 3-week citizenship process? I'm not sure what you mean. 3-week citizenship process. I'm not sure what you mean by that. How long does it usually take to get a work permit when you file 485? Right now, it's about a month, but we have cases taking like 3-4 months or longer. Will case dismissed from 2015 affect me for PIP? It depends on what your case was. Shenwai got approved 6 days ago. How long to get the green card? Probably another couple days or 9 months. I can only answer how long is about I-290. I don't answer questions about timelines here. In Christ says, my wife got a baby after the interview. What should we do to get a visa for the baby? It depends on what your status is and what kind of visa category it was, but you got to either work the embassy or CBP at entry to work on that. Barbara says, can you handle my case? I'm in Austin, Texas. Unless I can, if there's an in-person interview that needs to be done, I can't come to Austin, but I have colleagues over there that could help you. So Barbara, email the office. Go to jqklaw.com/contact, and we've got to schedule a formal consultation about this. I'll send you info about that. But I got to talk with you, see what happened, so I could try to spot any red flags that caused this, or just look into it, maybe do a FOIA request, and then we could refile it, or maybe just get a congressperson to contact them, see what's going on. But I want to know what's going on first before I, it's kind of like doing an X-ray before you go in for surgery. I don't want to jump in there and get surprised. Sultan says, after I had an interview in Oman, how long does it take? Transfer to another embassy? We had an interview. I'm not sure why you want to transfer at this point. I don't understand that. And it depends on the embassy. Okay. Julian's asked the same question a bunch of times. I don't have to mute you, Julian. Please don't do that. And Sultan asked your question. Please don't ask multiple times. And he says, my husband's 618 was approved in 2017. Will this help with this process? No, not really. But Parole Place seems to be pretty fast anyways. El Salvador says, how long? Okay. Please don't ask about timelines. Tesho says, what if I don't make enough to sponsor my husband? You'll need to get a joint sponsor or have a lot of assets. Love Singh says, how long does it take for N400 in New York? I don't know every city in America. I can't say New York, although I have cases pending there. It could be for anywhere from 3 months to 12 months on average. Could be faster, could be longer. But generally, I don't take timeline questions. But since you asked on YouTube, I made an exception. Moreau says, waived at the border, no proof married to U.S. citizen, been here since 2000, can I apply PIP? You probably can. If you're waived at the border, that's considered admission, so that gets kind of weird because then I have to think about how to answer that. Because if you waived in, you could technically file for a green card even without PIP, but proving being waived in is hard. That's considered admission. But if you're admitted, you can't file for PIP. So you're caught in this thing because you don't want to admit to EWI because that's other problems. So Munir, when you got that, you have a weird catch-22 situation we got to sit and talk about. So schedule a consultation, jqklaw.com/contact. A lot of good questions today. Thanks, everybody. Monter says, hello, big boss. Good to see you, Monter. I know someone entered the U.S. on a B2 visa, then walked to the Canadian border to claim asylum. He became a Canadian citizen. Later on, I tried to enter the U.S. on the Canadian passport. When entering, got interrogated while I left to Canada on the first entry and slapped the expedited removal. I don't know why CBP would do that. They get annoying sometimes, but I don't know why they would do something like that. There is this one thing where if you land in the U.S. first, you can't claim asylum in Canada. If you enter Canada, you can't go and claim asylum in the U.S. So that asylum claim may be invalid. But I don't know why they would do that. That's weird. Does USCIS count dismissed cases? Very likely. You have to tell about arrest, so it's going to come up. Munir says, waive, or answer that question. Julian keeps asking the same question. Deb Bashir says, is it true when you upgrade a sponsorship from green card holder to U.S. citizen, it takes long? It doesn't take long. It's supposed to be faster, but a lot of times they don't get the memo. Barbara says, okay, thank you. My mom filed for her unmarried daughter. Prior date is 22. No update now. What would you advise? I can't advise here, Barbara. Just if you're going to schedule a consult for yourself, we could talk about that briefly about your mom's case too. I need to sit down and think. I'm trying to answer quick questions here. That one's like too individualized. I got to see what's going on. And I got to look at the visa bulletin too, and know about your sister, where she lives, what her background is, what country she's processing from. It just leads to like all these questions. It's not a forum for that here. Okay. Munira keeps that same question over again. MV says, I just recently got divorced and remarried 1 month after in the US. Do I get to be worried? Potentially. I mean, it's a little weird, but it depends on what kind of immigration benefit you're asking for. Do they approve LPR spouses? I mean, LPR spouses do cases. I'm not sure what context you're asking in. Peter says, I-130 LPR filing for kids under 21. How long is approximate timelines? 5-6 years probably, but it could be faster, it could be shorter. Okay, so I have to start muting people pretty soon. Abdul, my father came to U.S. once a month. 1 month ago, he didn't get any updates about green cards. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what your father was doing to get updated about green cards. Not enough information. Nima says, I completed the questionnaire. I'm trying to schedule my consultation. Do I input payment information as AD military? No, just in the question context, say I'm active duty military. I'm not sure there's an attachment there, but just say your name. If I say this, everyone's going to do the same as you potentially. So just schedule a time based on an email and mention what we talked about here, your name and stuff, and I'll catch it. If it's doing right now, I'll notice it. But people after this, if they do it, I'm going to know it's not you. And they'll take it from there, Nima. Teshra says, I'll answer that question. Is there interview for green card asylum base? It's up to government. Can minors get the permanent bar? Yes, unfortunately. Sammy says, can I apply for the new? They can't get the 3 or 10 year bar, but they can get the permanent bar. So worse. Barbara says, thank you. I'll answer. We appreciate assistance in Nigeria. I will get touchdowns. Yeah, Nigeria is backed up like crazy. So even if your case is like we have spouse of U.S. citizen cases pending interviews, 2 years have gone. The people have had kids, the daughter's like 2 years old and still pending. It's a nightmare. So that's the thing. Like each individual country is a big factor, especially Nigeria. It's so annoying. They're so backed up. Okay, Munira. Wait, okay. Bourjon says, I have a green card. May I invite a friend from Afghanistan? There's no invites there. Your friend from Afghanistan applies for their own tourist visa, and they may get approved and may get denied. Okay. Ahmad says, hi, in some countries, the mother's maiden name isn't on the birth certificate. Yeah, that's fine. That's just whatever what happens in those countries. Mudar says, yes, it's called Safe Third Country Agreement, but before March 2023, unofficial borders were excluded, so it was allowed in Canada. Yeah, I don't do asylum, so the things I know, but I don't really handle asylum cases. So it's not something our office sees, it just deals with, because, again, we don't do asylum, so people don't call us for that. Do I need to provide a document proving she's my mother? And yeah, your birth certificate. The first names are enough. It doesn't need a short name. Yeah, should short name, but it depends on whatever country you're from and what the requirements are for that country. You have any idea about the approval of second green card of 10 years, which were filed? Yeah, it takes forever, 2 or 3 years sometimes. If cases in NBC, can I still file for PIP? Yeah. Sam says, can I apply for new PIP? I applied to military PIP and still pending. You can, and you probably should. I mean, it's going to be faster than the military PIP and less expensive. I mean, military PIP is free. And one thing is, for those who are military PIP people, they updated the form, and it looks like you have to pay money for military PIP, but you don't. Just to, help a public service announcement. But military PIP, I mean, if you already paid it, so I don't know, but they're taking longer and longer to do. So this new PIP might be per place might be a faster way to do it if you want to spend the money on it, and you could document it properly. P says, can you send affirmative asylum without personal statement? We don't do asylum, so I don't really want to talk about asylum law. M says, I filed divorce and remarried 1 month after as a J1 in the United States. Do I get worried? I don't know. I can't tell you what you're worried about. I don't know enough about the background of the relationships and what documentation you have about the relationship, why it broke apart. We got to get into your life. Love Singh says, can you adjust status on C1D visa crew member? I'm so confused with my brother. Usually you can't. There's an exception for crew members unless they use the crew member visa just for the sake of as a tourist visa and they got in. There's some small exceptions on the C visa, but there's generally a prevention of people filing for adjustment on crew member visas. If they're coming to be a crew aboard a plane or something like that, you can't do adjustment of status. Sonia, why is it taking so long? Yeah, I know. Why is it taking so long? If I marry someone from a different country, how fast can I bring her here? Depends on what country they're from and what your background is. Schedule private consultation. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You get that there. Generally good questions today. Too bad we got to end in 5 minutes. Have I-130 approved? Do you think I should apply for PIP? I don't know anything about you to say what I think you should do. In Christ Media says, the embassy told me to apply for I-130 petition. My child was born after interview, but Somi told me I can send them proof. Yeah, if you're like a U.S. citizen and your child's born in the interview, there's an exception. It's called like the FX1 or something. I can't remember what it was. I have to research this for one client to get them the visa. So I gotta sit and analyze what it was. So a consultation needed for me to do the research and figure out which it was. But in this scenario, I think you'll still be able to get a visa for the kid. I mean, a green card, but I got to see what's up. You can't always rely on the embassy or the government knowing what the rules are. So good job asking around. My fiance came with asylum, but we are getting married soon. And should he drop his asylum case? You don't want to drop the asylum case until you get the green card in hand. BO says, what is strong evidence to overcome presumption of breaking continuous residency? Evidence that you're really living in the United States. You have a house. Your RFE notice will have exactly what you're asking for, but it depends on your background, how you show your ties to the United States, home, work, car, and all that kind of stuff. Hello, is it possible to bring family from Afghanistan? Apparently, there's some Afghan-specific programs. But someone's answering a question. Please don't answer other people's program. Don't take anything written down here as answers as being from me. If you're a U.S. citizen, obviously you can file for parents and spouse, but the other ones are going to take a long time. There's some special permits for Afghans, but we don't focus on those. Erie says, I had 2 entries when I was a kid, got caught once. My FOIA came out clean. Can I do PIP? I don't know what you mean by came out clean. You got caught. What happened? Did you get voluntary withdrawal or not? We got to see your OBIM FOIAs before we can answer that question. Love says, what is your consultation? If you need more information, go to jklaw.com/contact and we'll talk about it there. Okay, so I want to approve. Should I apply for PIP? We answer that question. Our shot says, I want to apply for citizenship for my mother. She cannot understand English. She has a green card. We got to see if we don't do these cases, so I can help you, but there's exceptions for medical situations or they had the green card for a long time. So you got to look into that. Miss Wilk says, having an EAD and spouse is on SSD. What kind of advice can you give for an interview? I can't give any advice for the interview. Munira, answer that question. Did you answer my question? Can you repeat? I did answer. You talked too fast. So I do talk too fast. But no proof. I don't remember what your initial questions, Munira. But reach out to the office, schedule consultation, jklaw.com/contact. Dex says, I have a problem. My medical, I am positive for syphilis, but now I am undergoing treatment. Do you think shall be denied getting a visa in K1 visa application? They won't deny probably your K1 visa, but you got to go through your full treatment probably first and get the doctor's okay. But officer could deny, but most likely not. Roxanne says, my dad has been deported 2 times. He's currently for the 3rd under ICE. Is there a way he can stay? He probably has a permanent bar, so unlikely, but I can't say for sure without reviewing your case. Can I file for military PIP? This is Sammy and Biden PIP at the same time. Wait for out. Yeah, sure. Just more money to spend. Got it. Thank you. You're welcome, Munira. Isabel says, I was told my fiance won't get his green card through I-130. No, fiance visas don't use the I-130 unless the fiance entered the U.S. and waited over 90 days to get married with you. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide has the answers right there, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. All right, so let's get a couple more questions in and call it a day. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. A lot of good questions today. I appreciate everybody. Love care. So can bring my wife back home on dependent visa if I work full-time, part-time school? It depends on what visa category you have and embassy, all that. Caron says 235 days for I-751. No answer for U.S. Can I apply for citizenship? 235 days is, was it 8 months or something? So it's not a big deal. It's just, it could take 2 years. So 24 months. Can you apply for citizenship? If you're married and living with a U.S. citizen, you satisfy all the requirements? Yes, but schedule a consultation, review your background. Netta says, is it possible that USCIS may issue additional clarifying guidance on their interpretation of system in the future? I don't think USCIS is as liberal as it gets. It's more like how the Department of State doing more. But and I think they partially have, but the State Department needs to do more. USCIS is pretty liberal about it at this point. They've already updated it. What's the next step under cancellation notice for RFE of I-4513? I don't know. I got to see what was going on there. That's 2K specific. You escaped to answer my question. I'm not sure what your question was. ABC says, someone entered on immigrant visa and immigrants don't collect medical. Is that a problem for issuing green card? I don't know what you mean. If you already did your medical and they already collected the embassy, and so I'm not sure how you got a visa without the medical. Jen says, hi, good night. Good night to you too. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions and call it a day. Oh, I'm sorry, Instagram. People on Instagram asked a lot of questions, but my the chat feature didn't move, so I didn't catch it. My apologies. Atta says, "What would be the best way to file for parents, siblings so they came at once?" Oh, not a good way. Just not happening. File for one parent, have them do depending on the age of the sibling, how that one parent wants to get the green card. It's a nightmare right now. It's just not gonna be good. Karmov says, "Hell, if a person walked through U.S. force unnoticed in Canada and the U.S., then can he get political permit?" I don't know. We don't handle those sound cases. Xavier says, "My partner recently joined the Army. I have an expedited removal on 28/8. Could I adjust now that my son's in the Army?" You probably need a waiver still. So schedule a consultation. Look at that. Bedazzled says, "I filed my motion to reopen in May 24. I don't know what to tell you. Just timelines are bad. I don't know what your motion was about, so I can't say it." Renata, I can see it. "Hello, I'm applying for my mom and sister. I-130. Should I apply for her first and then apply for my sister when she becomes a citizen? Apply for both now." Um, I can't tell you what to apply for both. It's just going to be a mess because your sister's sibling case is going to take a while. So it's no strategy. You got to talk about what's appropriate, how much money you want to spend. And like maybe your sister wants to apply for a tourist visa or student visa, that is. So applying for her right now might be premature. We got to sit and talk about the best decision to make. Nabil says, "My stepmother entered America with a tourist visa. Can I apply for I-130? It depends. Were your parents married when you're under 18 or not? So that could be a big thing. You can't do an I-130 for a step parent. If you can't, then I got to answer other stuff." Nabil says, "Can you answer me, please?" Yes, Nabil, I think I answered the question now. Sorry, I missed everyone's question there. Immigrant Queen, good to see you. Dia Beauty says, "How long does it take after welcome to get a visa? My son and daughter," I don't know about timelines. Can't answer that question. "Is fiance visa faster than marriage in 2024? Peace. I have a detailed video on this on YouTube. Catch that. It depends on really your country you're from and luck. But check out our detailed video on YouTube. I answer that question. That's a 10-minute video or 8-minute video. "Can I sponsor my aunt for a visitor visa? There's no sponsoring. People apply for their own visitor visas." And Neta Farad says, "The case remains pending. We are temporarily pausing work on the application because immigrant visas are not immediately. Um, it means your case isn't ready to have an interview, so they're pausing it, but I'm not sure." Dina says, "After filing mandamus, USI's local field send me an RFE for medical. I've approved VAWA as my interview waive. Most likely, but they may still ask for an interview. I don't know." And one last question on TikTok. Who's randomly going to get chosen? Love, care, respect. We answered that question. Okay, let's go for non-repeat. Dilana, advanced parole done. DACA, married to citizen. 2 entries before 18 years old. FOIA done. What can I do? Well, we got to see if you're subject to a permanent bar or not. And advanced parole was tricky. If you were subject to permanent bar, the advanced parole reentry was problematic. But if you are good and you're married to a U.S. citizen, potentially you get a green card. Schedule consultation. Marriage immigration. I'm sorry. jqqlaw.com/contact. jqqlaw.com/contact. A lot of good questions today. Unfortunately, I got to take care of my kids, so I can't stay longer. But I appreciate everyone who came back. We'll be back next Tuesday. Follow us on TikTok. And Instagram and all these places, especially TikTok, because I do random pop-ups on TikTok. Maybe get your questions in there. Best thing to do is just schedule a consultation. jqqlaw.com/contact. Again, that's jqqlaw.com/contact. And Dinesh says, "Does USCIS have jurisdiction over arriving aliens remove proceedings if they're filing an I-130? Yes. It's a weird thing, but that's the case. All right, everyone. God bless. Be safe for the I-130. And Gabrielle says, "Love your content, Ms. Costa. I appreciate it, Gabrielle. Thank you so much. Got a lot of good questions today, actually. So I was really happy. But we got to go take care of the family and do everything else. So hopefully schedule a consultation is the best way to do it. We'll be back in next Tuesday, 5 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. God bless. Be safe. And